For this video, I'm going to share with you how much weight you need to lift to achieve maximum gains. To do that, I'll take about a few points first so you can get the full picture. If you want to build killer muscles, you'll need to lift heavier weights. Lifting heavier weight activates type 2 muscle fibers, which are vital in developing strength and rousing muscle growth. So, what's an ideal weight to start with if you're an absolute beginner? How can you know the best weight for each exercise? Here, I lay out everything you need to know about lifting for the greatest gains. Continue watching and I'll also tell you about a secret or two about eating for max gains. How much weight to lift to see max gains? Since your goal is to build muscle size, then I say you should lift a weight for 8 to 12 repetitions per set. This is also the ideal range for beginners as you are still learning the proper technique. Increasing muscle size can occur in two scenarios. Number 1, training at a lower rep range with a higher weight. Number 2, training at a higher rep range, 8 to 12 per set, with a moderately challenging weight. For beginners, the ideal plan is 1 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps per exercise with a moderate load, 70 to 85% of 1 rep max. For more advanced people, they can do 3 to 6 sets of 1 to 12 reps at 70 to 100% of 1 rep max. Notice that I'm not telling you the specific weight. This is because the answer depends on you and your fitness level. You don't want to lift too low and get underwhelming results or, heck, none at all. Likewise, you don't want to lift too heavy and risk getting sidelined because of an injury, which I'll be talking about more in the later part of the video. It's not so much about the actual weight, but more about the workload that acts as a stimulus to your muscle that truly matters. Plus, you cannot just stick to one weight. It should be changing regularly. Otherwise, you'll only see a result at the start, then you'd inevitably hit a plateau. But just to give you a reference, here's a good weight to start if you're a beginner. A good weight to lift for beginners. For newbies, it's important not to start with the heaviest weight you can handle. Instead, always go for lighter weights and then work your way up. You can even start with an empty barbell. If 45 pounds, which is the standard weight of an Olympic barbell, is too much, then use a smaller one. You'd likely see 15-pound barbells in your local gyms. Lifting 45 pounds for beginners will build you muscle, but then again, it also depends on the specific exercise. 45 pounds might be too light for the lower body, but too heavy for the upper body, which then leads me to my next point: how to determine the ideal weight for a certain exercise. Number 1, pick a weight that lets you perform the first set of 10 reps with moderate difficulty. At the end of the 10th rep, it should be a bit difficult for you to lift, but not in a way that you're straining, holding your breath, or excessively shaking. If you experience those things, decrease the weight a little. Number 2, rest for about 30 seconds, but no more than 60 seconds between sets. Number 3, proceed with the exercise, and by the 10th lift of the 3rd set, it's okay if you're struggling to complete the lift, but it shouldn't be accompanied by grunting or bad form. Number 4, aim to maintain this intensity for each exercise. Oh, and speaking of exercises, one movement you must incorporate into your routine is deadlifts, but more about this in a little while. The risks of lifting too heavy. Lifting heavier weights may drive awesome results, but it's not without unpleasant side effects. One major consequence is muscle injury. Lifting within your normal weight range causes microscopic tears and other damage to the muscles and tendons. That's completely fine and is part of muscle development. However, going beyond your weight range can lead to tendinitis, pulled muscles, and other muscle injuries. Additionally, attempting to lift weights that are too heavy can lead to spinal injury. While your arms suffer the most significant strains from lifting, your back also bears a considerable amount of stress. And when you lift a weight too heavy for you, this stress intensifies and sometimes goes beyond what your back muscles can manage. Consequently, herniated discs, pinched nerves, and other spinal injuries can occur. Now that you've reached this part of the video, here's the thing I promised that'll help you reach your goal: what you should eat to build muscle. To gain energy and boost endurance, opt for low-protein, high-carb snacks before working out. Foods like bananas or yogurt with fruit are great choices. Once you're done with your workout, have high-protein foods with carbs within 30 minutes of finishing your exercise to replenish and rebuild your muscles. Some good choices are a protein smoothie, chocolate milk, or a balanced meal of protein, carbs, and fats. Lastly, as much as possible, aim to consume 1.0 to 1.7 grams of protein per pound of your body weight. If you're serious about getting ripped and big, then be very mindful of the things I talked to you about. You can lift heavy and work out to your limits, but still not get as much gains as you would have wanted. Therefore, you'll want to include the king of all exercises in your workout program. And so, here's the cue for the next video. Make sure to watch it for the best results.